Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie Wismer. I'm an author and an editor, and I have 6 books out currently. My 6th book, Wicked Souls, just came out on December 7th. I don't have a final copy of it yet, so we're just looking at the proof. But today, I've done this for most of my book releases. I've done a video sitting down and talking about how much it costs to self-publish, and then also sharing some stats and stuff like that. So today is the 9th. This book came out 2 days ago. And yeah, I thought we would talk about everything that went into making this book, how much it ended up costing me, and like I said, some other stats and stuff. I've been posting a ton of videos this week in honor of release week. If you've missed any of the other videos, I'll have the playlist linked down below. And if you're interested in checking out the book, this is the 2nd book in my Marionettes series. It's a new adult fantasy romance, urban fantasy kind of thing with vampires and witches. It's very graphic, blood, gore, sex, all that kind of stuff, so know that going into it. They're available in Kindle Unlimited, there are audiobooks, all of the links are down below. Let's get into it. We'll start with the major costs, and then I've done quite a bit of math, and I've got a couple of different totals. I always have the same major costs for my books. You know, we have the cover, editing, and then the audiobook narrator. Those end up being the 3 biggest costs. So for the cover, I actually got all of the covers for this series made at the same time, so I didn't even buy the cover this time around. I got it when I got the first book done, but because I ordered in bulk, my cover designer did give me a discount. So usually for an ebook and paperback cover from her, they're $400, but because I ordered 4 or more, I ended up getting it for $380 for the paperback and the ebook. I can have my cover designer linked down below too if you're interested in working with her. She was fantastic. Since I ended up moving ahead and having the audiobook made, I had to pay extra to get the audiobook cover made, so that was another $50. The second expense would be for edits. Now, I'm an editor myself, so I decided, I think the book before this was, I'm gonna stop hiring editors because I felt like I was overpaying, and my books didn't need that much help if I edited them myself, so I've been hiring just a proofreader instead. And then I also work with several beta readers during the process to help with developmental stuff. So my proofreader, she actually just raised her rate, but when I worked with her, I think it was 0.005 per word, and the word count was somewhere around like 97,000, so the proofread ended up being $486. And then a couple of other small things. I do pre-orders for signed paperbacks on my website, so I have to order those books ahead of time, obviously, so that ended up being $226.85. And then I also ordered this proof copy to check the formatting and everything. That was $9.61. And then lastly, we have my audiobook narrator, and I'm gonna have to do an estimate for this. I actually don't know exactly how much this is gonna be because I don't have the final files just yet. I was gonna wait to film this until I had that, but things got pushed back just a little bit because her engineer got sick, so I'm getting it next week. I do royalty share with my narrator. I have a whole video on making audiobooks if you're interested, and then I also do a per finished hour rate with her. That's $75. So how much the audiobook ends up costing depends on how long the audiobook ends up being, but ACX, which is where I make my audiobooks through, estimated that this book will be about 10.5 hours. So we are estimating $780 for the audiobook narrator, which brings the grand total for this book to $1,932.46. Now obviously, because I had people pre-order those signed copies, that offsets that cost, and then I also had people pre-order audiobooks, which helped offset that cost a little bit too. Not all the way. We ended up raising $427.08 for the audiobook pre-orders. So deducting the signed copy pre-orders and the audiobook pre-orders, that brings us to a total cost of $1,278.53 is how much came out of my pocket for this book. And now if we're talking about not doing the audiobook, because that's not something that all authors do, and those are admittedly very expensive, so just to do the paperback, ebook, putting the book itself together, no audio expenses, that was $875.61. Hi, I'm editing this video and I'm just popping in here because I forgot to mention a couple of things because I didn't pay for them this time around. I paid for them like quite a while ago, so I didn't even really think about them. ISBN numbers I bought in bulk like 5 books ago, so I don't know exactly how much it would be for one divided down. I think maybe like $30. I use one for my paperback, but I don't use one for the ebook, and I also didn't have to use one for the audiobook because of the way it was made through ACX. And then for formatting, I use the software Vellum, which I think was a one-time purchase of like $250, and again, I bought that like 5 books ago. So those 2 costs kind of went into making this book, but again, I did them like a long time ago, but wanted to mention them. So we got this book out for less than $900, and this is a thick, long book, so I was expecting this one to be expensive. Under $900. I'm pretty thrilled with that. Now, let's do a little bit of math. So I took all of the sales that I've seen for 2021 so far in order to find these averages. It's the beginning of December, so we're 1 month short of data, but it's fine. So this year, with all of my books, my averages, I've been selling 53% ebooks, 39% paperbacks, and 8% audiobooks. Basically, I was trying to calculate how many books I was going to need to sell in order to make this money back. The royalty that I stand to make for each sale, if you order a paperback from Amazon, it's $3.37. If you order it from somewhere else, that goes through Ingram Spark, and so the royalty is less, and it depends on which country you're from, and there's like a lot of variables for that, but it's usually a little bit less than the Amazon royalty. So we're just gonna keep it simple and talk about Amazon. $3.37 for the paperback. For an ebook, the royalty is $3.43. And then if you read it in Kindle Unlimited, that changes month to month, the rate that authors get paid at, but it's usually somewhere between 0.004 and 0.005 cents per page read. And the Kindle normalized page count for this book in Kindle Unlimited is 487 pages. So using those numbers, the royalty, if you read it all the way through on KU, would be anywhere from $1.95 and $2.43. I basically just averaged all of those royalties down. I'll make about $3 per sale on this book, about. So in order to make back the money that I put in just to produce the book, the paperback ebook not including audio, I would need to sell 292 books in order to make that money back. In order to make that money back and the money that I put into the audiobook, we would need to sell 426 copies averaged out in order to make all of that money back. And I'm really pleased that actually we've already sold that many just with like the pre-orders and stuff alone. We're already past that and the book's only been out 2 days. So I'm very relieved. I always like to see, you know, making my money back on these books as quickly as possible. It's a little bit stressful investing all of this money and not knowing if you're going to see a return on that. So thank you so much if you guys pre-ordered. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for reading however you got the book. This is the second book in a series. In my first series, they were standalone companions, so you could read either or and stuff. This is the first one where like you have to read the first book before reading this one. So I wasn't sure what the read-through was gonna look like. I wasn't sure what I could expect with pre-orders and everything. This first book came out in August and it's actually my best-selling book. It's been doing really well. So I was hopeful that the read-through would be pretty good for book 2. So the numbers that we've seen for book 2 haven't been anywhere near book 1, but I'm not worried about it at all. I feel like a series is a long game and it's like a long-term investment, and you'll see the return over time, especially as more books come out and you start to see more read through. So let me see what other stats I can give you. Like I said, the book's only been out for 2 days and it's a long book and it's the middle of the week. It's a Thursday. Like, we haven't had a weekend since it came out, so I'm assuming a lot of people are going to read it over the weekend, so I'm kind of hoping to see reviews jump up after that. We got 25 ratings on Goodreads so far. I should also say I didn't send out any ARCs for this book, not a single one. So nobody got this book early. Everyone had to wait until release day. And now we have 5 reviews on Amazon. I know ranking is super arbitrary, it doesn't last, it doesn't really matter, but it has still been fun. This book has been sitting in the top 4,000 in the Kindle store since it came out, which I'm happy about. And I've seen quite a few people picking up book 1 now and starting the series. Book 1's now at 155 reviews on Amazon, so thank you so much if you reviewed on Amazon. I'm super happy with that number. That book just came out this year too. Reviews on Amazon are hard for me to get, so I really appreciate that. And one thing I've been really happy to see is, as I was saying with those average percentages, my audiobook sales are clearly at the bottom from everything, but I've seen a big spike in audiobook sales for this series this year, which I'm happy about because I love the audiobooks and I love my narrator. I think she does such a good job, so I'm happy to see other people getting them. Yeah, so we'll do a video sometime next week after about a week has passed from the release, where we'll do kind of like a reflection video and we'll talk about all of that and how the release went overall. So I'll get into some more numbers and stuff then if you're interested. Yeah, that was the cost of this book. About $1,300 out of pocket, including the audiobook. If you're curious to see how that compares to my other books, I do have a video like this for book 1, The Marionettes, and then another book, The Anti-Relationship Year, and then I have another video for my other books, but that's on my Patreon page. If you're interested, I have a whole tier about self-publishing and behind the scenes of publishing and stuff over there. Cannot believe that was our 3rd book release of the year. This year has gone by so quickly. Thank you so much for following along. If you're new here, maybe subscribe and stick around if you're interested in this kind of content. There's links down below in the description for all kinds of stuff. And other than that, I will just see you guys in my next video very soon. Bye. No.